So, you guys probably remember me talking many weeks back, and it was printed, I think, in the New York Times, if my memory's right, and many other places, that Jerry Cardinal and Billy Beane had this proposal that they put to FSG. At that time, it was called Red Corp Acquisition, and they were looking to buy a stake in FSG's sole holding. So that would include Liverpool, that would include the Boston Red Sox, that would include Fenway Racing, and all the other bits and pieces that FSG have under their umbrella of companies. That deal didn't come to fruition. We heard that talks broke down and it didn't happen. But interestingly enough, the Jerry Cardinal won half of this what was Red Ball Acquisition Corp, what is now Red Bird Capital, is very close to completing the deal. So here's what we know about it. Here's what the article said. Redbird Capital is nearing a deal to acquire more than 10% stake of Fenway Sports Group for approximately $750 million, according to individuals familiar with the matter. The deal values the owners of the Boston Red Sox and Liverpool FC at more than $7 billion. According to people who were granted anonymity because the matter is private, it will be the latest sports-related investment for Redbird following the acquisition of Toulouse FC and the XFL, which is scheduled to relaunch in 2022. Redbird founder Jerry Cardinal for some time has been trying to acquire a piece of Fenway, which is controlled by John W. Henry. Cardinal declined to comment. An SPAC led to Cardinal and baseball executive Billy Beane had been in negotiations to acquire a portion of FSG earlier this year, but that would have valued them at $8 billion. Those talks ultimately led to the private investment by Redbird. The deal will likely close in the next 6 weeks. Red Sox executive Sam Kennedy didn't immediately return an email seeking comment. There you go. So that's what we have. Now, an interesting line from that is that it's going to be a private investment. So unlike the last one, would have seen FSG sell, I think it was 20-25%, that would have seen them go on the stock exchange. That would have seen Liverpool listed. That would have seen all of FSG's assets listed. This is a private investment. So what does that mean for Liverpool Football Club is the next question everybody's going to ask. The honest answer is, at this moment in time, nobody knows. Because yes, $750 million will be freed up for John W. Henry and FSG, but it is completely up to them what they choose to do with that money. They could take it and run. They could take it as a little payoff for a job well done at Liverpool and Red Sox and everywhere else, or they could reinvest the money in one of their sports teams, whether it be the Red Sox, whether it be Liverpool. That remains to be seen. But I have a feeling that this is FSG knowing that this is a big summer and that they need to act and that they need to back the manager, and that with a COVID world that we're living in and football finances the way that they are, this may well lead to us having that capital, that money to go out there. I won't say and splash in the transfer market, because whatever happens, the club are always going to be very careful about the way that they invest funds in players. You know, we're meticulous in our research. I think it's fair to say Michael Edwards and the recruitment team have got it pretty much spot on so far. A lot of people immediately jump into the Mbappe conclusion, and look, that would make me as happy as any of you guys out there. But the truth is, at this moment in time, we just don't know. We don't know what they're going to do with the money. We don't know how much of it they're going to reinvest in Liverpool, how much of it they might reinvest in the Red Sox. Maybe John W. Henry wants a new yacht. I don't know. It is their money to do with as they please. They've sold off a 10% stake in all of their holdings, and we await with bated breath to see what they do. I can't see anyway that they don't spend some of it though. I mean, just maybe that's my optimism as a fan, but I can't see anyway that they don't look to spend some of it. Now, I'm sure that you guys have questions about this, and of course I'll do my best to answer as many of them as I can. Bear in mind, I am by no means a football finance expert, but I have been tracking this story right from its origins when it was Red Ball Acquisition Corp, and they were looking to do that deal that would have, I said, led us to the stock exchange. Captain Sal said they will invest, but not as much as we want. Yet, I mean, that remains to be seen, pal. I mean, there's two ways of looking at this. They're not going to come out publicly and say, oh yeah, we're going to spend 350 million of that on players for Liverpool, because then as soon as we knock the door, or as soon as we send a fax, or as soon as we pick up the phone or drop an email, somebody's price goes through the roof. So they're obviously going to be coy publicly about what they intend to do with that money. There's talk that the deal will be confirmed in the next 6 weeks, so in plenty of time for what should and hopefully be a busy summer window for the Reds with regards to players going out and coming in. We'll go through a whole list of players that you guys want to chat about as well, with, you know, who could come into the club, who could leave the club. But there was one name that was doing the rounds today, and that was the guy from Borussia Mönchengladbach, Florian Neuhaus. Again, my pronunciation is probably butchered that. there's talk that going around that he's been looked at. I think Christian Falk said that Liverpool are genuinely interested in this guy. He's a box-to-box midfielder. I won't claim to know everything there on earth there is to know about the lad. His release clause is about 40 million quid, and he is seen as a potential Gini Ronaldo replacement. That's all I know at this moment in time. This was literally breaking an hour ago as I was getting ready to get the stream together today. So that's what we know on him. 40 million quid release clause. Liverpool are tracking him, and he's seen as a potential box-to-box midfielder to replace Gini Wijnaldum. That's all I have for you on that one. Of course, we'll go through all the other players that you guys want to talk about as well. We'll, of course, have a little chat around Mbappe, and could that be a real possibility? We'll talk around Haaland, who I don't think is a realistic possibility, mainly because of his agent. I mean, Mino Raiola is not somebody that I think a lot of clubs like to deal with, from my understanding of it. But yeah, we do need some players to come in. And look, there's two ways you can look at the situation with the owners, ladies and gentlemen. Some people look at them and think they're miserable. Then there's people like me that are somewhat on the fence and think that they've been very astute in the way they've gone about their business. They have delivered us the title. They've delivered us the European Cup, a great manager. You know, you don't need me to go through the list. But goodwill lasts only so long, and we are at a point now where we're seeing a fatigued group of Liverpool players. We're seeing the toll that Jurgen Klopp's training methods and the level of performance that they've been asked to go out there and play with week after week, injuries, congested fixture, loads of stuff have all contributed to Liverpool getting in a bit of a funk, a bit of a lull at the minute. And you know, whether we can get top four this season or not, that's down to this particular group. But you would be looking to the summer and hoping and thinking that we're going to act in the market, and we're going to act like a top club. We're going to go out there and spend some money. We often speak about football being cyclical with regards to 3-4 years for clubs to remain at the top. Our financials are kind of like that as well, in that, you know, we had that time where we spent a lot of money in one summer. We spent a lot of money in one period, I should say, with Van Dijk and Alisson and Keita and these players coming in. And then it was just kind of tipping over a little bit. I have a feeling this summer we're going to see some players come in. We're going to see some money spent, because if we don't qualify for Champions League football this season, okay, maybe they can handle a one-year blip. Maybe that they can balance the books. Maybe they'll be all right with that. But with Nike on board, with the type of players they're trying to attract, with Jurgen Klopp, they're not going to want that to be more than a one-season blip if we don't make Champions League next season. So I'm a bit excited by this. I don't want to go over the top, because I don't want to fill anybody with false hope, and I don't want to spread any fake rumours or anything like that. But it's not bad news, put it that way. It's not bad news. They've always said they're open to taking on minority shareholder, and this kind of is exactly what they've said. They're true to the word yet again. So, you know, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what way the money's invested. But it is, it's not bad news, put it that way. I know a lot of people will worry that this could be negative news. I certainly wouldn't look at it in that way. Patrick Fairclough said, Toffee here, just wanted to say, loved you on the Blue Boys